Some say the Kings will come from the East, but today we see 4 teams here at the Arima Velodrome attempting to be Kings of the East. These are the Coca-Cola Intercol East Zone semi-finals here at the Arima Velodrome. Our first matchup, the Green Machine in pursuit of their past glory against the boys from Bugla Molatris, Sour North Secondary. Sour North Secondary go up against St. Augustine Secondary here at the Arima Velodrome. Before we go any further, let's look at the weather that these young men will play under. Not too hot of a day at 30 degrees Celsius. Humidity index at 73% and wind speeds at 10 kilometers per hour. There is the chance of rain. My name is Hans Devines. Join me on the pitch, Fed Match goalkeeper and broadcast extraordinaire James Saunders and former national defender Brent Sancho. Guys, we are in for an encounter today, but before we get into the semi-finals, let's look at what the quarterfinals had to offer. James.
Yeah, well, the quarterfinals, very, very interesting indeed. When you look at these teams coming in, San Juan Secondary, the biggest of the lot, the biggest result, a big 8-0 win over El Dorado West Secondary. And then look at that, St. Augustine, they've only had one blemish this season, losing to El Dorado East. But hey, revenge is a dish best served cold, as they won 2-0 against El Dorado East to progress to this point in the semi-final.
Well, it is a double-header fixture. Brent, let's talk about the 2 fixtures that we have today.
Yeah, 2 interesting counters today. Of course, the first one, San Juan North Secondary against St. Augustine Secondary, and the second one, the live one, Arima North Secondary against Trinity College East. 2 teams, of course, that plied trade in the Premiership, and of course, San Juan North as well was in the Premiership.
Well, all of the teams here, other than St. Augustine Secondary, we saw them in the Premiership. But James, let's talk about St. Augustine and their championship activity.
Yeah, years ago, if you tell me about this class, St. Augustine against San Juan, it's a gargantuan clash. You know, I read my dictionary this morning. But St. Augustine Secondary, I tell you what, they're a team that were in the Premiership last season. They were booted out, and they're back. They're almost with a chance back in. What they have is confidence. They're full of confidence. They've only got one blemish this season, just one loss after losing every single game last season. So they've got confidence, and they're also a team as well, St. Augustine Secondary, that, you know, have known how to win, and they've done that this season.
All right, well, let's hear what Coach Jones had to say about his team.
Coach, you've had a good Intercol season so far. Today's another challenge.
Yes, it is. It's going to be a challenge, but St. Augustine is going to be prepared.
You're coming up against one of the top teams in the East, San Juan Secondary. This is a year-long rivalry. This time it's different, though. How different is it for your team?
Well, for me, management-wise, we have not won against San Juan North in a while, probably since 2015 in the Intercol competition. So discussing it with the guys, and I let them know that this year is very important, and year is about creating history here right now.
You went down to the championship last season. You've got a great chance to elevate yourself back into the top contention. What statement do you want to make?
Well, these guys here, most of these guys played Premiership last year, and they made a decision to stick with the program this year. And we came here to make a statement that we deserve to be up here. Yeah?
Thank you very much, Coach.
No problem. Thanks.
Here to prove a point, St. Augustine Secondary School. But let's talk about Sour North Secondary School a bit, Brent. We saw them almost capture that Premiership title.
So close, but yet still so far, of course, a top 4 finish for them. When you look at the way this team is structured, there's championship quality throughout the team, 1 through 11. There is, within that team, of course, one player that I think it's arguably the best player we've seen so far this season, and that's Lindell Sween. He is ably accomplished and supported by, of course, that man behind him, Nathan Kwashi, who I think is a solid midfielder. Again, arguably one of the best midfielders in the league. So in those 2, the quality is certainly there to win an Intercol, to win a championship. They finished in the top 4, but I think they'll be eyeing this Intercol as a chance for them to get back on the podium, and I think it starts here this afternoon. A semi-final win, they can push on, of course, to try to go to the national Intercol finals and win it all.
When we talk about the way Sour North Secondary is designed, we cannot not speak about Coach Jerry Moe. Here's what he had to say pre this matchup.
Coach, you've made a really good start to the Coca-Cola Intercol today. Another test before you today. How do you feel about this one?
We're confident, you know, that we could get the result, but we're not going to take anybody for granted or take them slightly. I think St. Augustine is going to be a well-organized team. I think they're going to try and defend first and then counter-attack. But outside of that, I think if we play to our full potential, then, you know, I think the sky's the limit for us.
I know the tail end of the league campaign, you felt a bit disappointed from the start that your team had. Is the Coca-Cola Intercol an opportunity now to make up for that?
Well, it's a new tournament, and that's basically when you lose, you go home, and we always prepare to play the first game of the season and the last game of the season, so it will be a disappointment for us if we go home before that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Coach Jeremy saying he's not underestimating anyone, and we cannot underestimate the surface that we're on and the way it will affect today's game. Brent Sancho, we're feeling a little drizzle on our arms at this point in time. Let's talk a little bit about the surface today.
Well, before we talk about the weather, of course, we have to focus on the surface. It's lush green, it's very grassy, so it means that players will have to put a little extra oomph in when they're passing the football. A little bit more is needed. But it's also soft underneath the surface, the grassy surface. It has a lot of soft spots within it, which I think will have or make things difficult for players to stand and move about and make sudden turns and twists. And of course, in the middle of the pitch, there's still some very firm parts. As of course, when you look at where the officials are there, you look at their shoes, it's right down indented into the pitch. So the grass levels is very, very high. As I said, it will make it difficult for passing the game. We saw a game yesterday where the pitch impacted the way that both teams play. I think similarly here today, all four teams will have to adjust their game because of the surface.
Sour North, St. Augustine. James, what do we expect from this fixture today?
Well, you know, to be quite honest, I expect that San Juan secondary will go all the way and take this contest. I think that St. Augustine are still on their learning trajectory. They're full of confidence. They're full of experience because, make no mistake, most of this team have premiership experience from last year. So they're a team that would have learned their lessons, but I just don't think that they have enough quality to get past the San Juan team.
Well, one place you can be sure to find quality is the SportsMax app. We keep you up to date with everything that's happening in terms of secondary schools, football league, Intercol, and everything when it comes to sport. Download the SportsMax app today on Google Play or the Apple App Store. When we come back around, kickoff here at the Arima Velodrome, St. Augustine Secondary, Sour North Secondary School. This is the East Zone, the Coca-Cola Intercol East Zone Semifinal.
Well, that is the beautiful borough of Arima. It is nestled in the eastern part of Trinidad and Tobago, and it is the home of this big clash, San Juan North Secondary against St. Augustine here at the iconic Arima Velodrome. Hello everybody, James Saunders is my name. I'm joined by former TNT and World Cup defender Brent Sancho as we get set to break down all of the action. And well, as we blow the winds of football through your area, as we get set for high-intensity action that should be a banger. First sight of the boys on your screen, San Juan North first make their way forward. They will be up against the St. Augustine secondary team who have got a very storied past, but they're present at the moment. Well, that is still being written. The Arima Velodrome has hosted so many big encounters over the years, and those boys, the latest addition to the names that would have graced this wonderful stage. San Juan North Secondary as well. If you've been following the league action, just missed out finishing in third in the top division, the Premiership division. St. Augustine Secondary, on the other hand, well, after being relegated last season, they've got an opportunity to get their feet back in. Just one blemish this season in their championship run, which saw them top the Eastern Zone. And they'd be hoping to go one step further and be the David that will fell the Goliath here at the Velodrome. Well, they're out in their numbers to witness this clash. Of course, part of a doubleheader. Arima North versus Trinity East Secondary will be the second match here at this venue. Everybody's set, everybody's ready. And we are excited for the action. Not far from where their school is located, boys have come out early to watch their counterparts in action. Of course, Arima North Secondary, just about 2 miles away from this venue. They'll be up next. Decent start to their life in the Premiership, Arima North. And they will be hoping to try to get at least to the finals this time. Brent Sancho is alongside me. San Juan North versus St. Augustine Secondary back in your time. Certainly that would have been a blockbuster.
Yeah, it was. And you talked about this facility and the type of games that would have been played at this Velodrome, Arima Velodrome. And of course, James, the type of schools that played here, El Dorado, the Blue Thunder. He talked about Arima, Dial Dynamos, St. Augustine Green Machine, and San Juan Secondary, just to name a few. Of course, the teams are walking out to give this recent version of the history that comes with the East. And not just from an Eastern perspective, James, but from a national perspective as well. We've had national champions coming out. St. Augustine, of course, San Juan is one. El Dorado had their time at the national throne. And certainly all of these boys would be told about that history, and certainly something that may have attracted them to go to the school originally.
Oh, first sighting of the boys, and they will meet with the men in the middle. Referees for this match all set and ready. San Juan, wearing the green today, will do the introductions, having a word with the team that are iconically named the Green Machine. They will wear white today. Green shorts. And in just a second, we will have the introductions. Coca-Cola Intercol is certainly one of the top competitions when it comes to football on the calendar here in Trinidad and Tobago. Gonna flip a coin, and meet the officials. Jassy McDonald, the man in the middle, and he will be assisted by Anil Joseph, and Calder Orr, or Colin Smith, will act as the fourth official. San Juan winning the toss and deciding direction. They'd like to attack first. Lindell Sween wearing the number 10. Been one of the top players in the secondary schools season this year. Scored a double in their last fixture where they were 8-0 winners against El Dorado East. Kwashi and, of course, Jaheem on top, also getting 2 goals, so their team full of confidence. As we introduce you to who's on the lineup today, starting with St. Augustine. Not many notable names, although many of the squad returning from last season. Lewis in goal. And look out for Batiste and Friday, while Caleb and Cooper should add some trouble for the San Juan side. Tacoma Jones is the man on the bench.
Yes, we're here.
And well, for San Juan, it's a different story altogether. Almost household names now. The likes of Jaheim Danclair, who I just mentioned, gets in together with Lyndall Sween and Nathan Quashie, who have been on fire this season, contenders for players of the tournament. Chase Charles was excellent last game, while Morrison, new student in from the USA, part of the lineup with Jerry Moore on the bench. Oh, checking to make sure no holes in there. Certainly won't want anything entering the net behind him for the remainder of this fixture. Love to keep a clean sheet. Jerry Moore, tons of experience to his name. Tad disappointed, he mentioned in the pre-match interviews, missing out on the league title. These boys have a second opportunity as soon as that man, Jassy McDonald, blows his whistle. So we're just moments away from kickoff. The nerves bubbling over for St. Augustine Secondary, who have the touch. And it's action here at the Arima Velodrome. St. Augustine Secondary against San Juan Senior Comprehensive, or San Juan North Secondary as they call these days. Of course, my name is James Saunders, Brent Sancho alongside me. Brent, didn't have much time to discuss the keys for this match. What are they?
I think for St. Augustine Senior, it's containing the capabilities and ability of Lyndall Sween and how they manage him throughout the game, making sure that he doesn't get the time and space to create, and certainly not to give him the time and speed to load up that very gifted left foot that he has. Secondly, for St. Augustine Senior Comprehensive is being able to dictate the middle of the park. That midfield battle is key if you want to have success against San Juan North Secondary. I think from a San Juan North perspective, it's important to what Coach Mo said. Complacency is the key word. They can't afford to have it. They are, of course, end zone favorite to win here this afternoon, but you just can't afford to have complacency when it comes to a knockout competition, and they have to be lethal in front of goal. We do know they will create chances, San Juan North, James, and so it's imperative that when they do get those chances, they execute at the highest level.
Well, the last Intercol title for St. Augustine Secondary have to go all the way back to 1984. They'll have to defend first to Lyndall Sween's corner. Couldn't beat the man at the near post as Morrison gets it back to Sween. Eyes always on the 17-year-old, as this time he's blocked. Defender kept his eyes on him this time. San Juan Secondary, the only one of these teams with a title within the last 2 decades of secondary school football. To go all the way back to 2006 as Quashie was probing inside the area. It's not cleared very far as this time St. Augustine get it away. So almost ran himself into trouble there. Was able to get it all the way to Sween, and well, he can't keep it in. Would be a throw to St. Augustine. Chase Charles tussling for that one, but he loses that battle, as this time it gets in behind Desai Lewis. And, well, defender doing all in his powers to keep it in, but he might have kept it alive for St. Augustine. In fact, it has gone out. It will be a throw. Oh, this could be promising. Thumped in the area, searching, trying to find a wide shirt. He does find one, and eventually it is cleared. Ken Guy getting his boot through it. Danger not yet averted, and finally it is. And it will be a throw.
Not a bad start from St. Augustine. They've certainly looked up for the challenge here today. Determined so far in the opening exchanges. I'm quite sure that's exactly how they drew it up in the dressing room to come out this way. Of course, Coach Tacoma Jones continuing on with his stewardship. James, he spoke about the young players. Of course, they had a disappointing showing in the Premiership when they were there last time around. But he did point to the fact that it was a very young team. I know he made mention that this is the same team, basically, that was in the Premiership. So they would have learned, of course, at their time there. And the question is whether or not in that learning process would that have improved their game, or improved it enough at least to get what we would consider a major upset if they were to walk away victorious.
For sure, remarkable show of confidence from the school. Of course, Jones not winning a game in the Premiership last year when they were in contention. Certainly been big shoes filling in for Michael Grayson. Part of the St. Augustine program for quite a number of years. They're a school that accustomed to being among titles. They've got 11 titles in total. Here's Sween looking to make history for San Juan. Well,
yeah, well defended.
No foul as this one is back
That's
in the
not a
area.
foul.
Well, he should get there first. He does get there first, but the flag is up and it won't count. But the warning signs are there.
Yeah, I did wonder if he went a bit early. It looks like that man, Jace Charles or Dan Clare. It's a good ball, delightful chip into the box. Maybe needed a bit more patience from the attackers. But you're right, James, early signs.
Oh, this time Lewis is in trouble. Jahashua gets it away. Augustine certainly not looking like a team that played in the championship this season. Did mention at the start of the broadcast, a lot of their squad come from the Premiership the season before, so they've been here before. This time, it's won by Austin, no, Dan Clare. Tussling for this one. Lots of bodies in the area. Oh, that was aimed at Sween, but he's not going to catch that. It's a throw. At the start of the broadcast, the weather did say 30 degrees Celsius. I tell you what, Brent, it feels like the furnace that the Hebrew boys are thrown into. To have some window as San Juan now can heat things up inside the area. Was that a handball? It was, and well spotted by Jassy McDonald.
Yeah, and I wondered why he didn't pull the trigger. Because he did everything right there, except pull the trigger. It's a good bit of play between Kwashi and Jace Charles. And of course, eventually he was muscled out of it.
Well, it's one back. Joshua Ferguson looking. Dan Clare, he's done well. Dan Clare scored a double in their last match. This time he's battling for possession. Battle that he loses out on. Finally, St. Augustine are away. Oh, he's lost that to the wrong man. Lindell Sweeney has eyes on goal. And here's Morrison.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. It had to be timed right, James, and that's exactly what he did. So I tell you what, it was a good turn and move by Morrison, but an even better challenge. I just felt for a second there that if he got that wrong, I don't think the referee would have had any other choice but to point to the spot.
Here's Kent Guy looking for Morrison. Headed away, but this time it's on target and into the side netting. It did get a couple of fans going, but they might have counted anywhere. The flag of awe was up. That's what they do well, San Juan secondary. Get themselves in really good positions.
Well, I'm looking at their formation. It's a 4-2-3-1. And they've asked Nathan Quashie to play a bit higher up the pitch. He's almost playing in that number 10 role, James. We've seen him at the start of the season. Of course, the very first game against St. Benedict's, and he played more like an 8, a box-to-box midfielder. Now he's playing a bit more advanced, and I'm very sure by design, Coach Moore is trying to get him into goal-scoring opportunities because he does have that capability, Nathan Quashie. Of course, a player that played at the top tier level with W Connection last season. And certainly we are going to see him again, despite the fact that W Connection will not be part of the TT Premier League this season. I'm very sure Nathan Quashie will be plying his trade somewhere. He does have the ability to do that. And of course, that man Lyndall Sween as well. And although Jablute is also not in the reckoning, you wonder where those two players will end up. But they do have the quality to play at a level. They did show it. And they show it here as well.
Oh, here's Morrison. It's quite physical, but he does lose out on that battle. But it's easily won back here by Quashie. Chase Charles is in range, and well, he gets it on target. Yeah. And that's what he does. Chase Charles fighting the bottom corner, and San Juan are ahead.
And it's a good move. Started by that man, Nathan Quashie. Good ball across. Chase Charles sorted his feet out and just places it in the goal. It's a soft one to give up from goalkeeper Madison Lewis. But take nothing away from that young man in your picture, because he shot and he placed it. And it ended up in the back of the net, 1-0 to San Juan North.
Well, here's Quashie again. Floodgates can be open. This time it's deflected. And St. Augustine eager to get it away from the area. Only as far as Sween though. Chase Charles, he's already gotten one. This time he couldn't pick out Morrison. How will the green machine respond? Well, not very well, because it's Quashie looking for that man in your picture, and the flag remains down, but it does go out, and it will be a goal kick. Well,
yeah, it has to be a corner.
Referee's official signal a goal kick, but
yeah, it ricocheted off a defender, so it really should have been a corner.
Oh, that has been corrected now as Lyndall Sween makes his way across to the far side. Well, they're tossing bodies forward now, San Juan. 9 men in the area, but Sween's corner doesn't get past the first player. He'll have a second attempt though. "29 goals they've scored in the league campaign, and Sween looking to add to that. 37 in total. Well, that's searching, and this time the goalkeeper holds on. Well, they just need to settle now, St. Augustine secondary. Didn't start off too badly for giving away that goal. But he's done well to keep it alive for the green machine, and now they come away.
That's a good ball.
Well, he has some space, and well, a good tackle in the end from Lewis.
It's a good ball over the top. I just felt at one point that Ethan Friday would have gotten the better there of Lewis. But Lewis was able to make the sliding challenge. A corner for St. Augustine and an opportunity to possibly pull one back.
Well, we'll have a look here. San Juan defending for dear life as this one is high. Couldn't find the St. Augustine shirt. And Kwashi's run is intercepted. Will go San Juan's direction. Two look like a team who've got individual quality. St. Augustine's secondary just haven't been able to find the fluidity despite their eagerness so far in this contest. Oh, here's a man who's full of quality. Gets it to Morrison, searching, and Chase Charles was at the back door. Couldn't find him. And again, they send it long forward. Tesai Lewis in attendance, but he is hassled. Wow, unconventional, but it gets the job done.
He's a very lucky boy, Ferguson. That easily could have gone anywhere.
Well, good feet. Loses it this time, now Friday.
Yes, we have a little look at the cross there. That's a brilliant ball in there by Morrison. So well defended at the end by Zion Danette. He was in the right place and made the right connection. As if he didn't do that, James, I'm very sure Jace Charles was going to get to the end of it.
Well, he's lost this race. And he's lost that battle, but this time he's well defended.
That's good football.
And they come away with it. Valentine finds the skipper.
It's a heavy touch.
Gets a second bite of the cherry and
another heavy touch. And an even heavier touch.
It's almost a pattern as Joshua Lewis comes across to clean up. I think the surface might have anything to do with that.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's very grassy, and as I mentioned in the build-up, you do have to put a little extra on the pass when you're making that pass.
Oh, this could be interesting.
There's a player down on the other side. This ball ricocheted off his face, and yeah, I do think the surface is slick, it's soft underneath, and the grass is very lush and very high. Let's have another look at this here. It's a clearance by Lewis that struck his man.
Ken Guy.
Right in the face, and I can tell you that's painful. Of course, almost resulted in an opportunity for St. Augustine. But as it relates to the pitch, James, I must say I was utterly disappointed in what transpired. As we see, of course, the St. Augustine players transpired yesterday in the Central Zone semi-final clash between the Miracle Ministries and Carpi Chima East. And what I would consider deplorable conditions, not just the playing surface, James, but of course the fact that the players had to change in the stands. Both teams had to do it. And the officials as well, James, had to change in their car in the road. And in this time where these young men are balancing both school and, of course, athletics and putting out such an effort to do so, I think they were certainly let down yesterday by the authorities. You must have, in a country like ours, the proper facilities for these young men to showcase their talent.
Just wonder how well the facilities below them are. Fortunate thing, Brent, seems to be a recurring theme. It's not just Edinburgh 500 ground. We've seen other grounds around the country suffer a similar fate.
Yeah, it's something that it really is heartbreaking to see. because when you talk about a South Zone clash and a Central Zone clash playing outside of traditional venues, knowing very well that those venues do exist and there could be measures put in place to ensure that those games could play at those venues, it is disappointing. And it's really something that the powers that be have to look into it. It must be rectified, because we're letting down these young men who, again, James, and women for that matter. And the game yesterday was played in great spirit by both teams. A credit to both teams. Despite the conditions, they were able to still go out there and put on a show for us. But they're certainly being let down.
Of course, the irony, looked at that match, also on SportsMax in Jamaica, following that game, and, well, chalk and cheese, as they say. We'll talk about that later on as the action resumes here at the Arima Velodrome. One of the functional facilities here. This one is deep in the area. Can't find the St. Augustine shoot. It's Quashy. Advances it forward. Finds Lindell Sween. Morrison is involved. And that's well picked off. Chase Charles, though. Toss win it back for San Juan secondary. Here's Morrison. And heavy touch from Lindell Sween this time. But Chase Charles, though, took too long to get his gun cleaned. Oh, how often have we seen that battle? Friday and T.S.I.E. Lewis. It's a clever lad, isn't he? And he does win a free kick. Of course, you can catch all the action on our SportsMax app. Head to the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Download the SportsMax app and capture all of the action in the Secondary Schools Football League and the Easter School Football Competition.
Yeah, that is a battle. Friday and Lewis. He's going to have his hands full, Lewis. Because certainly that man, Ethan Friday, looks like he's up for the challenge today.
Oh, look at that. The old abracadabras, but San Juan not fooled. Certainly not Sween. He's got that man with him, but Dan Clare was a bit too straight for him.
Look at this for a bit of trickery. I think that's the old defender's trick of the ball can pass, but the man can't. And that's how Lewis made sure that Friday wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, might have another opportunity here Friday. This time technique not working in his favor. Has done enough to rattle San Juan somewhat, though. Oh, he's been busy. Certainly like to get his team on the score sheet. Well, that will be another throw. So they're looking at the action on the app, perhaps. Well, he's looking on in real time, Jerry Moore. Certainly would be the more contented of the coaches, Jerry Moore. His team, they lead by a goal to nil. Oh, this time does find a white shirt. And, well, Xavier and Haynes had to be alert. Could have fallen anywhere.
Like an uncomfortable collision there in the air. I must say, James, I've been impressed with what I've seen from St. Augustine, despite the fact that they're one goal down. They've shown a lot of innovation in what they want to do. They've mixed it with short and long passes, and they have one or two individual players that certainly have the capabilities of causing a bit of a headache to San Juan North. It's not been easy going for San Juan North, the highest placed team from the East in the Premiership. Hence their #1 seed in the Eastern Division of the Coca-Cola Intercol. And you would say, James, they are odds-on favourites to carry on and win the Intercol from the Eastern side. But I do feel this game is a difficult one for them, and I think the winner of the next game that's coming up on our broadcast between Arima North and Arima Secondary and of course Trinity East, both teams have shown that on their day they could be a bit of a handful.
So that will be another throw, this time for St. Augustine. Chase Charles certainly worked his way, started the season coming off the bench, Chase Charles, but he worked his way into the starting lineup and certainly has become an integral figure. So to this man, Morrison.
Yeah.
Gravity worked against him this time.
And he would be disappointed because he got into the right position. Good play by Sween. Nice ball, good first touch. Lined it up correctly. He just needed to hit the target. Just wondering if it took a slight deflection. Give him the benefit of the doubt there, but regardless, really should be hitting the target from there. It's probably, what, about 12 yards out? I'd expect him to work the palms of Madison Lewis, or if not, work the goal for him, minimum.
Did make his debut the last match day against El Dorado West. Morrison does have some U.S. citizenship, was part of the U.S. system before joining the Secondary Schools League. Yeah, he is. He's also a part of Sean Cooper's under-15 team several years ago. So he does possess some qualities, certainly got some physicality. Of course, no JDL Joseph. He was a late omission from the San Juan starting lineup today. Did warm up with the team, but he scratched off the starting list just mere minutes before the start of this fixture. Certainly another important aspect to the San Juan Trident. Well, this is good from Friday. This time is back heel, not connecting. More chicks, please. It's well defended. Certainly battling St. Augustine. Passes need to be accurate, though. Here's one of them. And finding space to go forward. And Kent Guy, well, he's recovered well from that last blow to his head to defend. Morrison finding Sween. Got lots of space, but this time he loses possession. And, well, that's illegal, says the referee. Just feel like as if San Juan has lost a bit of control in this game.
Yeah, they've lost their way a bit since they've gone up by 1 goal. They just haven't been able to connect the passes in a fluid way. Very disjointed performance so far. And you have to credit St. Augustine for that. They've not only kept possession and done good things when they have the ball, they've also worked very hard when they haven't had it. And the coaching staff, of course, would be happy with that, but that's a San Juan North coaching staff, and I'm not sure they're too happy with what they've seen so far from their team. Of course, this is an infringement there by Kwashi. That's not the nicest place to receive a blow, right in the midriff.
Oh, Valentine, first to get this match restarted, Marcel Valentine. And, well, just going to take a little pause. Tyrese Andrews. So they're down to 10 at the moment as he receives treatment. Oh, they're in behind here. Could be their first shot, and just wide of Xavier and Haynes' goal. And Friday, almost the player getting on the end of that. He appreciates the effort.
Yeah, good direct ball over the top. Poor defending by Sanwa North. That was not far off at all. Warning shot fired there by St. Augustine. As I've said, James, they're not out of this contest. They've certainly shown the capabilities of getting back into it. You just think that if they had the score, James, it's going to be a difficult afternoon for Sanwa North. It already is difficult. Here they come again.
Well, he's feeling hopeful. Not enough quality to beat that man in goal. Well, he allowed it to bounce and eventually was able to get it in front of Dan Clare. Morrison. Body's in front of him. He goes the opposite direction. Guy. All the way back to Joshua Lewis. Almost picked out. Dan Clare was lurking. Always on the shoulder of the last defender. This time he forces an error. It's a sound one through. Well, was able to sneak in. Dan Clare almost picked out his main talisman on top. This time they find him. Lindahl Sween is charged down there. Can't give him half an inch. And here comes the green machine. It's a foot race here. It's well defended. Desai Lewis. His pass is cut out. And that will be a St. Augustine through. Certainly not been overawed by the occasion, St. Augustine, as we pass the half-hour mark. It's Friday. He's certainly been up for the occasion. Oh, there we go. Making defenders disappear. Goodness me. It's almost a ghost, the way he floats through walls of players.
Look at this for a bit of skill here. Very Ronaldo-esque through the legs. Look at this. You go that way, I go this way. And certainly we've had our fair share of entertainment, James, from Friday.
Tell you what, I've been entertained. You can tell by the songs made by the supporters, they're certainly being entertained.
I'm sure Tacoma, the coach, is probably not entertained. He wants a goal. And rightfully so.
Oh, here's the magic man again. Not allowing it to get to him this time, Desai Lewis. Well, this is searching. Morrison was the intended target. Just held up in the wind. Maybe Kwashi can now. Sween. He's done well. And this time Kwashi could be in. That's a great tackle. Was almost able to pick the lock, but not that time. Excellent defending.
Yeah, it looked like Williams at the back. It's a big push there by, of course, Kwashi. Williams there with a perfectly timed challenge. Again, you'd have to consider that was a goal-saving challenge there by Williams.
Friday. This time his happy feet unable to get him out of trouble. Squashy. Sween. It's clever. Dan Clare though. Couldn't get ahead of his man, but maybe Desai Lewis could. It's Chase Charles. Finding the dots at the moment. Kwashi is thinking about going from distance. Oh, goodness! When he does it well. Nathan Kwashi. Just when you think you've seen the best goals that he can score this season, he produces another.
Well, you talk about a player that's filled with confidence. And certainly filled with ability as well. We talked about him being a match winner. And that strike is a match-winning strike by Kwashi. As much as goalkeeper Lewis can put his head down, he can't do much about this. Look at that. An absolute scorcher. Into the back of the net. And young Lewis in goal probably heard the vibrations of the net. And probably that's about it. That is a brilliant strike by a quality player. 2 goals to 0.
Well, Sweden has been quiet, but the supporting cast have been exceptional so far. What a player, Nathan Kwashi. Remember the dink he scored at the start of the season against St. Benedict's College? Saw free kicks from him, and we've seen them from distance. Certainly scored in a wide variety of ways this season, Nathan Kwashi. Well, here's Joshua. Joshua Lewis. And this time, only finds a St. Augustine player. But they do concede a throw.
I think from a St. Augustine perspective, they would consider themselves very unlucky because they haven't played the type of football that should result in being 2 goals down. It was a good finish, the first one, and the second one, an unstoppable strike.
Well, is anybody home at the back door? Kwashi wants it. Goalkeeper as well. Has he been fouled? No foul. And well, it came off the player in the end. Hem Lee was the one keeping that out of his own net.
And Lewis, of course, falls on the ball like he had everything under control. And certainly this could have ended up in the net. Initially, didn't get it. Kwashi with the header to keep it alive. Lewis collided with his defender. Look at Dankler here with the strike, Hemley with the block. Unfortunate.
Can there be a response from St. Augustine? Well, not the type of response they would have fancied. Well, 10 minutes remaining, and look at those numbers. Possession in favor of San Juan. Pass completion, well, 60%, the best of the lot, and that comes from St. Augustine.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised because they've been slick in their play. They've been thoughtful in their play. The only thing they have lacked is carving out genuine goal-scoring opportunities. And I think Coach Tacoma Jones would be disappointed with that aspect because everything else has been quite good. And as I said, I don't believe the scoreline is reflective of the play that we've seen from St. Augustine so far. But we did say from the start, James, that San Juan North have players within their roster that can win you football games. And we've seen that so far. A good finish, albeit, of course, Lewis could have done better in goal by Charles. And then an absolute scorcher by Nathan Kwashi.
Well, here's Kent Guy. Morrison. Guy, he's got numbers in the area. Can he find one of them? He does find Danclair. Just couldn't steer it home from close range. The alarm bells are sounding louder than the drums here at the Arima Velodrome. And they're not done yet. It's a corner. Kwashi just flew over the head of Chase Charles. St. Augustine now will try to keep it alive. And this time Joshua Lewis coming all the way around to prevent Valentine from getting any bit of joy. There has been some positional swaps. Friday, it seems, it's gone into the middle of the park. It's ball one. Does need some support. He does find Friday. The wide area. Ken can't get it past the green shirts. And while the goalkeeper was brave and effective, although not pretty. Touch too heavy. Fortunate to win it back. Sween. No support out wide. It finally comes in the form of Desai Lewis. And a chest over the head of Hemleys. Rescued by Morrison. Oh, the queuing up now. Everybody wants it. Morrison, as he runs out of red estate, he has.
What's the right idea? To take his man on. But as you said, running out of real estate. I think that's the difference in the game, really. San Juan North has been clinical in their final third. And St. Augustine has been wanting in their final third. And that's why San Juan North is up 2-0.
Oh, didn't intend to find Elijah Batiste, who said, surely that could not have been for me. Oh, good touch here. Desai Lewis has become more involved, and he could be involved in the third item. Just needed his man to latch on. He knows it could have been better. Might have hurt himself as well. It's Joshua Lewis. Chase Charles. Back to Lewis. A bit of patience creeping into the game of San Juan. And Sween. The old Maverick move, but no success that time around. Well, they've been effective at intercepting or breaking up plays, but it's been ugly. St. Augustine.
Yeah, and I just think the second goal by Kwashi taking a bit of the wind out of their sails a bit. That belief and gusto that they presented in the first 10 minutes or so is certainly starting to evaporate.
That was a chance, certainly. Ball cut out. Can't guide to keep it alive. Direct. And again, another ugly clearance. Results in a corner.
Hasn't been a perfect performance by San Juan North, but it's certainly wearing St. Augustine down as they continue to put balls into the box, make those runs in behind the back and work the back three for St. Augustine, and that midfield shifting them from left and right. And in this hot weather, it's impactful. That's deep.
Well, everybody gets an opportunity to breathe now. As we head down to 45 minutes. Don't forget, you can capture all of the action via the SportsMax app. Download it via the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And capture all of the action that we broadcast to you. Of course, a ton load of matches every day. Both the Secondary Schools Football League and the ESA Boys Football League competition.
I'm just looking at that ball going through to goalkeeper Haynes, and it didn't even bounce. It hit one of the puddles in the field and just slid all the way through. I know we have a lot of conversation about pitch conditions and of course facilities, and I can't stress how much of an impact that has on players and the type of football that we see on the day.
It's a concern that has even been expressed on the regional stage, because the Jamaican national coach, Hal Grimson, has been one of the pioneering voices, well, not pioneering voices, but certainly one of the loudest voices in terms of talking about the impact of Caribbean pitches on the development of Caribbean players.
And Coach Jamal Shabazz, of course, of Trinidad and Tobago, now coaches Guyana. He had his say as well about facilities in Guyana for an international Nations League game. He, of course, stressed on how poor the pitch was, which had a major impact in the way his team played. And of course, Trinidad and Tobago has been blessed with many facilities, but at the same time, oh, that's very close. I've been cursed over the last couple of years because a lot of those facilities have not been utilized or been in operation. Certainly what we saw yesterday in the Central Zone. It was really not something that we want to see, but you have to give credit to the schools that have kept their fields in pristine conditions.
It has been the schools that have had the resources, quite frankly.
Yeah, the resources, the wherewithal, and the desire as well. Because it takes, of course, organizing yourselves in a particular way to make sure this could be dangerous.
Well, Haynes is second.
And what?
And, well, I'm not quite sure. Chassis McDonald is pointing the other way.
Well, for a second there, I thought it was going the other way. And I'm very sure that that infringement could have gone either direction. Because I do believe it was a foul on Haynes. But then look at this, high boot. That's dangerous by Haynes, the goalkeeper. And in retrospect, I think Jamil Cooper may have been adjudged incorrectly there. But I'm very sure Haynes would be the one suggesting that despite the high boots, he didn't connect with the opponent. It went right across, as we see there in that shot. And maybe because of that, Haynes may have a case. But I still maintain, James, it could have gone either way.
Of course, anytime the studs are pointed at the opponent, it certainly does sway the mind of the referee's decision. You're right, certainly it's a lotto. Who was more dangerous? Well, everybody's okay though. Certainly Haynes is the least for wear for that challenge. But it's a man of the field at the moment. And as we are well into the 4 additional minutes rather, that has been added in this match. Already 2.5 minutes through that. So both teams, as a matter of fact, are playing with 10 players at the moment, with San Juan and St. Augustine with a player each off the field. Oh, everybody has dancing boots, it seems. Not enough to get past Desai Lewis. Certainly not one you're named after one of the greatest defenders of our era, Marcel Desai.
Well, I know about the weight that comes with wearing a colorful boots. I'm sure there's the weight that comes with having a high-profile name like Desai. Top defender, French defender. Applied his trade most noticeably with Chelsea.
World Cup winner as well.
And the World Cup winner, yeah.
Well, we've certainly seen some big names in this competition. Yeah. Riquelme, Ronaldinho, Desai. Well, Dan Clay would want to put his name up there.
That's a good tackle.
That's a great tackle.
That is an excellent tackle. And I do think that Sween was very lax in his approach. So the combination between that and this tremendous tackle by Williams, Sween really should have pulled the trigger, but Williams, nevertheless, not only did he stop Sween from, of course, shooting a goal, he also did a very good job to make sure he didn't make a foul.
Well, that's the half. 45 plus 4 has come to an end. Nathan Kwashi might have taken a knock. Certainly hope to see him around in the second half. But at the halftime whistle, San Juan secondary, the team showing their quality in this Intercol semi-final fixture as they lead by 2-0 here at the Arima Velodrome. We're going to take a pause. We come back with highlights and more. Well, we're glad you were able to take a break after all of that blockbuster action in the first half. San Juan North leading by 2-0 against St. Augustine secondary. And let's look back at some of that. Buckle up for your own safety, that is. Chassis McDonald got us underway. And this man, Kwashi, keep your eyes on him. Starting the action first, finding Chase Charles, who found what he finds best, the bottom corner. That was 1-0. Well, this man certainly on a roll. Scored 2 in the last fixture, 3 goals in 2 Intercol matches. Then Morrison's cross needed some Jackie Chan-esque movement to keep it out. Later, Morrison, well, just missed out on gravity. San Juan creating danger for themselves, and that man Friday just missing out. He certainly was one of the live wires. On the opposite end, though, good tackles. Kept San Juan out until Chase Charles found this man. How often have we seen this combination? And how often have we seen that finish? Kwashi finding the top pocket. Well, certainly got some of the top contenders for goal of the season in his back pocket. Nathan Kwashi, that's another one of them. And then later on, talk about stopping your own blessing. Hem Lee blocking the shot from his teammate, and that kept it alive. Kent Guy thought he could find something in the pocket late in the fixture, but that man, Jaime Danclair, just missing out. 2-0 at halftime. What does the numbers tell us about this match? The eye test, San Juan, St. Augustine secondary, well, they were pretty good, and the numbers say so as well. 3-1 in terms of shots and targets, 2-1. Not much difference between the teams in terms of that. When we go down to possession, San Juan North have been able to dominate that. We also saw, apart from this statistic, in terms of pass completion, St. Augustine was well in it. But the main one at the end of the day is goals win matches, and San Juan North, they certainly scored 2 of those to put themselves in the ascendancy. I've got 2 handsome gentlemen standing by downstairs, eager to discuss the action.
Thank you very much, James Saunders, Hans Devines, Brent Sancho. We're on the pitch. Brent, during the commentary, you actually mentioned that the score doesn't quite reflect the actual game that we see in the gameplay and the fight that St. Augustine has been putting up.
Yeah, it has been an impressive display so far from St. Augustine, and Coach Tacoma Jones will be satisfied with the way his team has played. Where he will not be satisfied is the opportunities to goal. Of course, the stats show that they've only had 1 shot and 1 of that on target. And for all the possession and the pass completion that we would have seen from St. Augustine Senior, it certainly did not turn into goal mouth action. And I think for Tacoma Jones, that is a major concern. And as I rightfully said as well during the broadcast, Hans, San Juan North have and possess players that could win you football games.
Yeah.
Nathan Kwashi's strike is indicative of that, and we saw that, and that's the reason why they're up 2 goals to 0.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the defense during the game, Brent.
Yeah, it was solid throughout, and of course, tackles that I like, and one of the reasons why I love doing broadcasting. Look at these tackles. It's meaty, full of flesh, full of flavor, legal, and of course, stopping the opponent with crunching challenges. It's been a game that has been played in the best of spirits. It has not been malicious by any stretch of the imagination, but the challenges throughout the park, I tell you, Hans, I was a happy man in the first half watching this game.
And the players have exercised a lot of discipline in the entire matchup. Now, Brent, a lot of goal attempts, a lot of, near chances, near misses. What do you make of it?
Yeah, it has been a game that's been void from a St. Augustine's comprehensive, St. Augustine secondary perspective, that has been void of goal mouth activity. But for San Juan North, they've created those chances and they've been able to get in and around the box. And as you can see from this clip, they've really bring things to life. First goal, of course, by Chase Charles, placed it. We saw in the game yesterday, teams, of course, hitting over the bar. We talked about trying to place the ball into the back of the net. Side-footed in Chase Charles. Good skill, good quality. Of course, goalkeeper Lewis maybe could have done a better job. And this, we've seen Kwashi scored some outstanding goals throughout this season. Well, look at this for a finish. An absolute screamer. Give him that opportunity. I talked about him playing a bit more advanced in the number 10 role. When the season started in their first game against St. Benedict's, Kwashi played almost as a sitting midfielder. Now he's playing a lot more advanced. And that's the reason why, because he's capable of those sorts of long-range activities and long-range shots.
1 assist, 1 goal, Nathan Kwashi showing he has the quality. But let's talk a little bit about St. Augustine Secondary School. What do they need to do to get back in this matchup?
Well, first and foremost, they have to turn that pass completion and that possession in the middle of the park to goal-scoring activity. 1 shot and a half is not good enough to win you a football game. They need to do better on that sense. And of course, Hans, moving on to San Juan North, continue as is. They've been doing fairly well. The second goal gave them a bit of wind behind their sails, so they started to play a bit better. If they could dominate the middle of the park, get the ball into Sween and get the ball into Kwashi, they have a good opportunity to run away with this fixture.
Well, that's the analysis of the first half by Brent Sancho. We want to remind you, download that SportsMax app right now and keep up to date with all of the action inside the Coca-Cola Intercol. This is the East Zone Semi-Final, the first matchup, Sour North Secondary School 2 and St. Augustine Secondary 0 at the half. When we come back around, second half action.
Well, it certainly has been an uneven distribution of goals in the first 45. The Lion portion, or the only portion, going to San Juan North. 2-0 over St. Augustine Secondary. 45 more minutes remain. And if St. Augustine are to survive and get past those men, well, they need to score goals. Scored 29 in their championship run that saw them top the East Zone. But San Juan, well, they've got so many match winners in there. It's like a buffet. Not sure what to choose. Maybe to scratch your head to figure out exactly how we're going to get past them. That man, Lyndell Sweeney's been quiet in the first half. But can you really keep an elephant quiet? Not really. 45 more minutes. And lots more action to happen here at the Arima Velodrome. My name is James Saunders. Brent Sancho is alongside me as we get you ready for the next 45 minutes. And spoke about quite a lot, Brent. And one of the key statistics we will talk about as soon as Jassy McDonald sends us off would be the statistic that we saw 3 shots to 1. Certainly did see lots of interplay, but that suggests one thing, that quality chances were lacking.
Yeah, lacking. Not just the fact that they created the chance and just weren't able to execute, but also the fact that the chance have never been created. And once they cross the middle of the park, St. Augustine this is, they seem to struggle a bit to connect and make sure that they get an opportunity on goal. One shot is a dismal statistics to have. The entire half of football, James, and one shot is just not good enough.
Well, here's a man who hasn't really gotten any shots in. Sweeney's down. This man, 1 shot, 1 kill, Kwashi. And what about Hemley? Not that time. Might get a second chance though. It's well defended. Here comes St. Augustine's secondary. Couldn't find Friday, who's shifted to the 3rd position that we've seen him in since the start of this match. Did start on the left, ended the first half in the middle. Now seems to be the lone attacker up top.
Yeah, and I suspect that they want to utilize his pace and trickery up front. But to be able to utilize it, you have to get the ball to him. I'm sure that's the game plan. On paper, anyway. Whether or not it actually happens, I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Joshua Lewis. Morrison's touch is heavy.
Yeah, it's a heavy touch.
Oh, done well to win it back. Squashy. Rare giveaway from Nathan Kwashi. Kifts it back to St. Augustine. Well, they'll tussle for this here. Dan Clare, second to that one. Chase Charles trying to help out. Remain St. Augustine's ball. Again, another heavy touch.
Yeah, and it's not the surface. It's just poor. Just really need to cushion the football. And then when you look at the way the body shape, James, from the players when they're receiving the football, that's really where it's lacking. The feet is straight and not necessarily bent. You have to bend your knees when you're trying to collect the ball and cushion it. A straight leg would mean that the ball would rebound off of you. And we've seen a lot of that. And that's why there's been so many heavy touches.
But it's one of the first thing that Pep Guardiola adjusts every time he comes into a new team. Player positioning in terms of receiving the ball. Body shape, body position.
Yeah, it's critical. It really is. And especially with players that are playing in the transitional stages or parts of the field, middle of the park, having to turn, twist, switch the point of attack. It's very important that your body shape is correct, not just only receiving, but when you want to pass the football. Because the quicker you could move the ball, it gives you a better chance of course, getting behind your opponent. Screams there for infringement, but I think referee Jaisi there was correct in not giving it. Just letting it play, nothing wrong with that.
Couldn't get it to Hamley. Chase Charles, but the whistle goes. St. Augustine player. Seems to be in a spot of bother. It's not a good sign, the area he was holding on to.
Yes, we have another look at it here. It's like an elbow. Arm went up very early. Could possibly be hamstring.
Well, first I saw him holding on to that hamstring, but judging from the replay though, it does seem that it might be a knee, into the hamstring.
Well, we're looking at him here, and it looks like you just have to pick a spot. It could be a combination of
all of the above?
All of the above, yeah. As the San Juan North flag is waving. And you'd have to think that there's genuine belief that this San Juan North team could move on. Of course, all due respect to St. Augustine, this game is very far from being over, but San Juan North has to be one of the favorites to walk away with the National Intercol title. I'm very sure St. Benedict's College would want to be in that conversation. Napariman presentation as well. And of course, this year's winners, Fatima. So there's still a lot of competent teams in the hat. And,
well, one might even keep an eye on Arima North.
And Arima North, correct.
Difficult team to beat.
Yeah, an underdog team in a competition format like this could cause problems. So there's still a lot of good teams in there, still a lot of football to be played. And your guess is as good as mine as to who will walk away with the National Intercol Trophy.
I think, though, that the top three, the SSFL, certainly among the favorites. Think about San Juan, who did lead the league for a couple of match weeks. They've got so much individual talent. Fatima College have not really been beaten. St. Benedict's College, they are on a 12-game unbeaten run.
Yeah, and if you were to pick an informed team, it would be St. Benedict's College. They've been in an absolute tear of the league in terms of results and the way they've gone about their business.
Oh, here's Charles navigating his way out of traffic.
That's a good pass.
And, well, flag is
down.
down.
First time.
Inside, trying to find Morrison. Has some space, has to be quick. And, well, we've seen Lyndall Sween done better from there.
Yeah, on the weaker right foot. Just never really looked comfortable in receiving that ball from Morrison. Would have to admit it was played in with quite some pace. It's a good run again there by Danclair. Spots Morrison on the far side. Gets it to a big fella. Puts it across, scissored it across. And you're correct. We have seen Sween do better. But it was a difficult chance.
So we're well inside the second half. 7.5 gone so far. No goals added to the first half tally. Morrison just seems to be caught in two minds there. St. Augustine certainly need to up the quality in the final third if they are to get anything from this match. Just one defeat for the season for St. Augustine in their 10 league matches in the championship division. Enough to see them top that division, 2 points ahead of El Dorado East.
That's a good, strong challenge here. Not allowing Kwashi to progress. Like Valentin. Marcel Valentin with a challenge.
Well, they'll have to try again. And this time it is blocked yet again. Jehashua Ferguson. Well, almost sent that in the direction that would have seen his team go 3 down. It's a lucky man.
Yeah, he is. It's a long throw in. And never really made good connection there, Baptiste. Well, he made the wrong connection. He almost put it in his own net.
Well, can Kwashi find a head? He does. Find Dan Clare. And well, I'll tell you what, Batiste header was a lot closer than that one. Almost finding himself in trouble. St. Augustine, but they could be through. Too long, it should be easy for Haynes. Well, I'm sure his coach might have been the least impressed player or person in the Arima Velodrome with that move.
My heart skipped a beat for a moment there.
Fans, on the other hand, they enjoyed it. Kwashi did limp off at the end of the first half. He seems to be all right now. Sween, element of surprise, just lacked the power. So I'll cut out by Guy. There'll be another St. Augustine throw. So many top players of the past would have come from St. Augustine secondary. School known for their footballing prowess, as I mentioned in the first half. 11 titles to their name. Well, this is promising. Haynes does get some work to do, and he handled it well.
Well, he's not the tallest of goalkeepers, but he was certainly at full stretch there. I just wondered if it had enough height to get around him. It's good goalkeeping there by Haynes.
Oh, maybe the ground option might have been the better option. Just turning away from pressure nicely. Cheese Charles has a heavy touch, but he doesn't get the reward because he did handle it. Over a St. Augustine free kick. And well, no surprise who's standing over it.
I'm looking at the way he's placed the ball, James, and it suggests he's going to try, and that must be at least 40 yards, 35 yards out. It would take one major strike of the football to even get it towards the goal, much less get it on the frame.
Well, everybody needs ambition. Maybe power as well.
You know, I always wonder when players place the ball delicately. I want to think that 9 times out of 10, the placement is as good as it gets, because they're never able to replicate it and find the target. So, for young players out there, leave the special placement away and just work on the technique.
Certainly. Well, deck is being shuffled in the St. Augustine side of things. And got a new man in. So Israel Carter is the new man in, and he replaces Jamali Caleb. Coach Jones thinks it's about time to change something. Maybe the scoreline. Confirmation of that to your top left. Oh, this could be promising. If you can keep it in. Well, you need to do that first. Just seems to be the little things St. Augustine have gotten wrong, particularly in the final third, that have made the difference in this match. Certainly been competitive. team that has come a long way. First campaign in the Premiership division last season ended without a win for them. Certainly have another opportunity to get back there. Qualified for the Big Five, together with the likes of Miracle Ministries, who we saw yesterday, Moruga in South, Signal Hill in Tobago, and Blanchisseuse in the Northern Division. Oh, Chase Charles had ideas of heading for that one, but he was outnumbered. And the keeper, well alert to the danger. Well, there's a man down, and that's why play has been stopped momentarily. San Juan will use the opportunity as well to shuffle their deck. We've got two players lined up and ready to come in. And, well, not a man that St. Augustine will be happy to see down at the moment. Certainly hope that he can continue. In the meantime, though, Matthias Charles makes his entrance. And with him is Michel Baptiste, Michael Hemley, and Morrison is the two players that have been sacrificed.
Not surprised with the changes. I think for both teams it's gone a bit flat. The tempo of the game has dropped to almost walking pace. And as much as those characteristics is what you don't want in a football game, I think from a San Juan North perspective, they'll be quite fine. Because at the end of the day, they are up by 2 goals. And confirmation for the second substitution, Charles in, Morrison out. And I think from San Juan North, they're very happy to see this game peter out into the final whistle, and they march on to the finals. But for St. Augustine, I have to find another gear somewhere, somehow, because I don't see them troubling the rear guard led by Captain Lewis of San Juan North with this pace.
Wow, Sweden had to get involved, didn't he? It's one a corner. Must be a frustrating afternoon for Lindell Sween. Hasn't stopped him from trying though.
Yeah. And he will continue to try. He has a lot of belief in that trusted left foot, and why not?
Oh, here's his partner in crime, Kwashi. Chase Charles was the target. And it should be easy for Guy and company to deal with. It's Haynes. Desai Lewis. And as easy as you like. Choke it out of the back. Oh, Baptiste, what an introduction. He's gotten barged through the back. Will be a free kick. Oh, can Sween conjure up the kind of service that could potentially put his team out of sight in this match? Well, Kwashi's there. So too the goalkeeper. Not sure he knew a lot about it, but he kept it out, most importantly. And maybe St. Augustine can capitalize here. He can get around Kent Guy. Oh, Guy was too quick, too clever. Just running out of room. Nathan Kwashi. Talk about the San Juan team. Of course, most of the talk is always about Lindell Sween. How important has his role been in this team, Kwashi?
I think it's been one of the main reasons why. And you're right, we talk a lot about Sween and the gifts that he possessed, but Kwashi brings a balance. He's very good offensively and equally as good defensively. And it allows Sween more opportunity to go forward, but it also allows San Juan North to have that balance. They lack that player coming into this season, certainly what we watched last season from them, with that ability to dictate the pace of the game. From where Sween is positioned, it's very difficult for him to dictate the pace. Kwashi dictates the pace for San Juan North, and that allows Sween the possibilities to get into more creative positions.
Oh, that did go out of touch before he's able to get the cross in.
And I would add as well, James, that of course last season he's played his football with Queen's Royal College, and I think we've seen a better version of him here with San Juan North. I think with Queen's Royal College he was asked to play almost like an 8 and had a lot of the bulk of work to do for them. Here he certainly found his way to be able to be a creative and expressing himself as well.
Well, it needed a better touch on Batista, and eventually it comes to naught, but seemed to be in there from that ball from Sween a moment earlier.
Yeah, he needed a better touch. Maybe if he was pushing it forward and not trying to take it across, may have eluded his defender. Again, I'm looking at the tempo of the game. It really is played at a slow, walking type pace, and as I said,
whoa, he's found it. You can't keep a good man down. And Lindell Sween, he's as good as they come. That's 3-0 with some help.
Well, I'm looking at the reaction of almost everyone in the pitch, and even some of the oohs and ahs from the stands. And it just looked like a very rare moment that's unexplainable. Because for all intent and purposes, it looked like it was going wide. If we have another look at it here, they claims a handball there. I don't think that's the case. The deflection, the goalkeeper looked at it and made it seem like it was going out of play. And took a wicked turn into the back of the net. Yeah, that's not a handball. And once it deflected, Lewis looked like the most assured man in the park that the ball was going wide, and it snuck in on the back post. Well, what a very strange way to further your goal scoring line. And you'd have to think that that's game, set, match.
He wants more. Sween. Not contented for just that one. And wow, that's good defending. They're not contented to let him walk through the defense. Wow. If not him, maybe somebody else. Was that a corner? It is.
Look at that for a bit of magic there by Sween. That's a good crunching tackle there by the captain. It's like Mills. Like Andrews coming across. Sween feeling the effect of that very crunch-worthy tackle. That's what happens, and you hold on to the football. You can ask the likes of Messi and Maradona if Pele.
Well, It's squashy. Certainly wearing down St. Augustine at the moment. Lots of bombardment in the area. And another crunching tackle. Just sense that they're getting a bit tired now. You can certainly tell from the pass completion that has dropped significantly for St. Augustine secondary.
Yeah, and from 60% for most of that's another goal.
Ball.
Yeah, it's the front gates are opening, James.
They've worn them down, and it's the substitute Charles. Well, everybody's got a conga line now. It's a party. 4-0.
And goalkeeper Lewis looks in disgust. Route 1 football here. Charles gets his head onto it. Lewis poorly positioned. And the ball floats over him, the goalkeeper. Just wasn't positioned in the right place. As much as he's unhappy with the goal, he would probably have to take blame for it. And the celebration, Congo line time.
Well, can there be more? Batiste is searching, and this time Lewis holds on. Well, they've just worn them down pretty much. Will there be a consolation?
I'm just thinking to myself here, James, I don't think I've ever seen a Congo line as part of a celebration for a team goal. Well, for a goal. We've seen the Macarena, we've seen different types of dance, the stir fry, you name it, we've had it, but Congo line, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's something that I used to see many moons ago. San Juan certainly bringing it back. Saw it last week as well when they played against El Dorado West. Said the exact same thing that you're saying. I haven't seen it in so long.
Well, it certainly has a goal celebration. It's a strange one. I guess when you score as many goals as they had during this Intercol series, I guess you have the right to come up and make things up.
Ball.
Maybe the Macarena is next year. Let's see. It's offside.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just straight offside.
Didn't need to stray offside as well. Could have held his run and time it better. Because he does have the pace, Dan Clare.
I'm just happy, though, that I can recognize the celebration. These days, so many new ones, I'm lost. Let's see. Top line from my year, at least.
Well, you don't see the...
Well, one place you certainly can see more conga line action is on the SportsMax app when you download it from the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. And you can watch all of the action in the ISA schoolboy football and the secondary school football action here in Trinidad and Tobago.
In terms of celebration in yesteryear, you'd have to think of the Roger Miller celebration, and locally here, the Kerry Jameson.
Sure, most of the folks looking at this broadcast have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's correct.
Maybe we said the Sioux.
The Sioux, yeah.
Yeah.
I will allow them to express themselves on Google.
Might be asking,
Kerry Jameson. So
what's a Jameson?
Well, he actually played for Arima, I believe, Kerry Jameson.
All right, more changes coming up from Arima. And two players will be making their way off, and in comes Nkosi Fuentes. And that man in your picture, Curdle Richards. Scoreline might certainly be long past the point of redemption, but at least they can get their final bit of action. Of course, they're not out of action yet, St. Augustine, although They will be knocked out of the Intercol competition. Still will be involved in the Big Five, so their season still not over yet, even if they lose here today. It's not the same for every team competing, though. Now, can they make something happen from this? Well, some luck maybe. And, well, no luck there. Still win a corner, though. That was as close as they came.
Yeah, and it was good defending. Looked like it flicks up in the air. And then to get that block across there, that's very good defending by Ferguson.
And, well, this one will fly out, and this time it will be a goal kick. Giovanni Hospitalis was the man that got the volley. Must have thought for a second that could get his team in, and so too that man, Friday, who almost intercepted Haynes' pass. Oh, they're getting adventurous now. Flag is down. Just one man in the area, though. Does he have the tools to unlock the San Juan defense?
Yeah, just needed to deliver with the left foot. Of course, confirmation of the substitutions. Rich is in, Cooper out. That's late. That's really late there by Sween. And he's lucky.
Well, the clock's certainly ticking down inside the final 14 minutes, 13 and a half, pretty much. And of course, whatever else is added. San Juan secondary at the moment, cruising to another win in the Coca-Cola Intercol that will see them earn a spot in the finals.
It's a good switch there. This could be trouble. And it is trouble. Good trouble if you're a San Juan North secondary supporter.
Oh, what an entrance for that young man, Charles. Picking up his second, coming on as a substitute.
It's good switch play. Good touch, good finish, Charles. Coming on and making a major impact.
Spoke about trouble. What about for the coach?
I tell you. Such a well taken pass. Good ball, head up, Sween. Switches the point of attack. Got his touch here by Charles. Perfect. Lays it down, finishes. Nicely put there. Nicely finished. Nicely executed. Charles with his second. And San Juan North now is dancing all the way to the East Zone Coca-Cola Intercol final.
Oh, Dan Clare, his day is done. And Castell comes in. Second match in a row. San Juan allowed to explore the depths of their bench. And, well, Charles benefiting from that, scoring 2 goals. Well, don't forget, coming up next, Arima North against Trinity East, the winner of which will most likely be joining San Juan North Secondary in the East Zone Intercol final. Well, that's high, anybody's ball. Chase Charles, the one getting his head on it. Lewis to bring some calm out of defense. Still with St. Augustine though. Still have aspirations of grandeur. How about that for a save? Superman. It's almost cruel to deny that.
Perfect strike. An even better save. Haynes making sure that makes the highlight reel along with his other teammates. Certainly one for the picture frame if it was snapped there by any of the local media. Certainly an Instagram. That could be his profile pic possibly.
Yeah, for years to come. Oh, here's the magic man, Friday. Needed to pick out a better pass though. This game is 9 minutes away from completion, but it doesn't feel over just yet. Still seems like there could be more. It's well challenged. Desai Lewis, well, it's not the easiest to stop. And that will be a throw to St. Augustine Secondary. Foul. San Juan Secondary progressed to the semi-finals on the back of a 8-0 win over El Dorado West. Already scored 5 today. 13 goals in 2 matches. When you're that far ahead, you can afford to make changes. David Lewis is set to come in. And it will be Jadel Chase Charles who will make way. A shift he's had, scoring the opening goal of the match. Can David Lewis somehow get his name on the sheet? Corner. Sween zooms at set piece ability, and that just flashed across the face of goal there. Captain Joshua Lewis unable to keep it in. Clock ticking down. It's perhaps in slow motion for the men in white tops. Certainly put up a competitive showing in this fixture. Just overawed by the individual quality of San Juan in most instances. And, well, while we're at it, David Charles makes way for SportsMax at moment. And, well, See if your guess is as good as mine. Of course, it just had to be dynamic duo. Sween to Kwashi to the top of the net. Kawabunga. Nathan Kwashi. He scored so many great moments, but this one is our SportsMax app moment. Might be too late for an app moment for St. Augustine, but maybe not too late for a goal. Just didn't get the coordinates right.
Yeah, and that's really the story of the afternoon. They've shown flashes, moments, but once they've gotten to the front end of business, they just haven't looked the part. And that's the difference, really. I think the conversation for man of the match is a difficult one. Very, very difficult one. It's not suggesting that we haven't had good performances by players in the green tops. We haven't had an exceedingly good performance, but we've had solid performances throughout. Of course, Nathan Kwashi, Sween, goal scorer, Charles, who played his part, and a substitute that came on and scored 2 goals. Maybe, there you go. Talk about impact.
Well, if you combine the Charleses, there you go. Chase Charles and Charles.
Charles squared.
Charles squared. St. Augustine are determined to get in, and Haynes does his job. He's done well. Savion Haynes. Well, can't give this man space, but he over pushes. Yeah, he's again Sween, a lot better with the touch. And the attempted dink, almost finding Charles. Must have thought for a half second that he could be on his way to a hat trick. Was that a handball? Referee doesn't agree. Sween finds Charles in space. He's already scored 2 goals so far. He's hungry. This time the service. And David just missing the mark. Well, the substitute, David Lewis, almost got his name on the list. And Kent Charles, or Kent Guy for that matter, another solid stop at the back. Tough questions. The minds of everybody. I wonder who's his man of the match. Just moments away from a full-time whistle and whatever else will be added on. He'd love to end with a shutout. No, they'll have to retake that again.
Probably a SportsMax first. Substitute as a man of the match. Why not?
Matthias Charles. There we go. The power of the Charles. certainly came in and had a scoring blitz. San Juan, by the way, making more changes. Hakeem Bartholomew is the man waiting to come in. 4 minutes and 5 minutes and just a bit as the captain Joshua Lewis makes way. Well, that was promising, and that will be a corner. Finally finding their shooting boots in Augustine. So this will be yet another opportunity to impress before they make their exit from the Coca-Cola Intercol St. Augustine, and well, won't be done there. So the light just dipping here at the Arima Velodrome. Perhaps a symbol that this match as a contest is well over. Xavier and Charles takes his time. A lot of these players have played together for a number of years in the San Juan team. Both are in the community. 3 players in this current team, of course, were under 12 champions years ago with the La Pastora Government Primary School. Lyndall Sween among them, JDL Joseph, and Stefan Langai, who's on the bench. San Juan, a community, breeds footballers. They've grown up playing together, playing with the same clubs as well.
Yeah. Well, we add Brian Lara to that footballing pedigree. That is Santa Cruz. And the list goes on and on. Arnold Dorica. I think I'll do myself a misservice if I try to even name some of the players that come out. A lot of multi-sport players that come out of Santa Cruz, both cricket and football. Of course, the Bravo brothers, cricketing fame, and so many more. There's always these types of communities producing those types of players.
Certainly a large catchment area. Santa Cruz, San Juan, Bugmalachis. Gerald Brito as well, Marvin Oliver.
Correct, yeah.
So many names. Sween, one of the new young talents on the block. Oh, why not? It's that kind of match, and certainly would like to get his name on the score sheet. Substitute, Castle. San Juan, they're still searching, although they have 5 goals up, still hungry to go forward. Well, here we go. What a great tackle. He's offside anyway, David Lewis. Not a bad tackle from that young man, though.
Yeah, despite the fact the flag was raised. Of course, Williams didn't know that, so he just made sure he left his mark.
And just to the end of the 5 minutes of grace that was added by Jassy McDonald. And right on cue signals the end of this contest. Contest that these two young men, Lyndall Sween, Quashie, performed well. Contest that saw 5 goals going past that young man, Lewis. And a contest that brings to an end St. Augustine's participation in the Coca-Cola National Intercol. San Juan, yet again, second successive match, scoring over 5 goals. 13 in total in their last 2, as they win by 5-0 against St. Augustine's secondary. In a second, we will rewind the tape and look back at some of the action and get some of the reaction to this match. San Juan North secondary firmly placing themselves into the finals. This is how it started. Chase Charles getting the opening item. That was 1-0. And then later on, Arim on the other end felt that he should have gotten something here Friday. Legs a bit too short. And Charles, Sween, Quashie combining. And no, it's not Captain Planet, but a goal out of this planet. Top pocket, Nathan Quashie, his 3rd goal in 2 matches. And then later on, good looking cross. Morrison tried to get Sween involved, and that's something you don't see every day. Miss from that range. St. Augustine, though, were not toothless. They did have some efforts on goal. But it was the San Juan team that got help. Even when it was off target, Lyndall Sween finally getting his reward, getting on the score sheet. That made it 3. At that point, he decided to bring in substitutes. This man, Charles, one of them, and that was one of his goals. Goal number 4, St. Augustine's secondary. Just a looper with a Lewis in goal. And how about the conga line? And then later on, Lyndall Sween, the provider. Look at this for a touch from Charles. And how about 2 goals? Goal number 5, his 2nd of the match. And boy, could he dance as he celebrates his team moving on to the East Zone Finals, winning 5-0. So at this point, we say goodbye to all of our viewers looking at us on CCN TV6 in Trinidad and Tobago. All right, it's time now to bring up the numbers on the board. And let's check out shots. And, well, San Juan was certainly firing them in. 11-4. 6 of those were on target, while St. Augustine was just able to muster 2. And when we come down to possession, well, San Juan always in charge of that. Lion's share of possession. And the goals, they were quite clinical. Of their 6 on target, they were able to convert 5. Hans de Beens is standing by with a man who scored at least a 1/3 of that 5 goals, Charles.
Thank you very much, James Sauter, joined right now by Matthias Charles. 2 goals today. You are our man of the match. Talk to us what was going through your head in terms of those 2 goals and how was it made possible?
I was a little bit nervous at start, but as the game went on, progressed, I began to get comfortable, relaxed on the ball, but it's something we've been practicing and thing, the cross over the top and the finish.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the celebration, the conga line celebration. Where did that come from for San Juan North Secondary School?
Well, it's a little something one of my teammates made up, Jahishua Ferguson.
Right.
We practiced it a little bit on the training ground, but now we finally right timing to use it.
All right, this is the second time you all have actually done it. Congratulations again to you, and you all can conga line your way straight into the Coca-Cola East Zone final, where we will actually see you all play one of the two teams that we're going to see a little later on. Brent Sancho is with Coach Tacoma Jones.
Coach, a spirited start, a disappointing result. Your assessment of the full 90 minutes plus?
Well, football is a game of two halves, right? So the first half, assessment-wise, we try to attack the team. We are not physically and strength-wise ready for them, but we tried our best. Second half, we tried to get at them again, but defensive blunders, a lot of defensive blunders, right? From the goalkeeper, and we open up a little bit too much, and that was it, yeah?
Well, we talk a lot about the qualities that San Juan North present with the individual players that they have. Talk to us about the Sweens and, of course, Kwashi of San Juan North and the impact that they had in this game.
Right, interestingly enough, we discussed a lot about Sween and how we could basically compact that middle, and basically they were too quick for us, right? They were too quick for us. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Coach. All the best.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Coach Mo, another victory, another step closer to the promised land. Your thoughts?
I thought overall it was a professional performance by us. I mean, if you look at the stats, I don't think first they probably had one corner, even though the score was 2-0, and then second half he scored 3 goals. So overall, I think we deserved the win, and I think it was a professional job by the guys in terms of the dominance.
Well, there's a lot of conversation about Lyndall Sween and the impact he has on the San Juan North team. But tell us about Nathan Kwashi, and since his transfer over to San Juan North, how important has he been for you?
Well, I think Nathan Kwashi improved a lot because he played in the Elite League, you know, and that helped his game going forward, you know. And he have a little chip on his shoulder how he didn't make the last under-17 team too, so that's just motivation by itself. So I think Nathan Kwashi was a good fit for us, you know, and we were trying to help him as much as we could in terms of developing his game. But also, if you want to go on a scholarship, we were trying to help him in that direction.
Thank you very much, Coach. All the best in the finals.
You're welcome.
Well, those are the words of the coaches, and the final score here at the Arima Velodrome, San Juan North Secondary School. 5, St. Augustine Secondary unable to find the back of the net. When we come back around, we get ready to find out who will they face in the Coca-Cola Intercol East Zone Finals. Will it be Arima North or will it be Trinity College East? We find out when we come back.
Welcome to SSFL Premiership Division.